An army of large steam and hydraulic-fueled mechanisms encroach upon a temple on the island of Yaros, but are met with extreme hostility from the abominations of the Sarkic followers. A singular mech is impaled by a series of fleshy spines and falls limp, laying dormant for thousands of years, until discovered by SCP archaeologists in a place known today as the Araucum Desert. Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Buck, and as you can see behind me, we are performing a field study of Provisional Site 31, and more specifically, the SCP it is built around, SCP-2406, codenamed the Colossus. This site is to maintain the facade of a Kazakhstani military facility. All researchers working directly with SCP-2406 must wear Type A hazmat suits at all times and will go through a rigorous decontamination process upon exit. A security perimeter of armed guards is to remain in place at all times in order to prevent unauthorized access. Direct interaction with SCP-2406-1 requires authorization by Site Command. Now, on to the SCP itself. SCP-2406 is a mechanical automaton, 93 meters in height and weighing approximately 210 tons. Research indicates that SCP-2406 was not sentient and required at least 6 operators to properly function. It is hypothesized that SCP-2406 was piloted via 160 different valves and levers within its interior. Limbs were controlled through the application of pneumatics, hydraulics, and clockwork, and powered by a nuclear reactor located within the torso. SCP-2406 was discovered on August 7, 1985, in the Araucum Desert, formerly the eastern basin of the Aral Sea, during an effort to track the unusually high levels of radiation in the water. Initially contained by GRU Division P, SCP-2406 would be transferred into Foundation custody following the collapse of the Soviet Union. Despite the location of its recovery, SCP-2406 is believed to have been built somewhere in the Aegean Sea. Most of SCP-2406 is composed of an alloy consisting of 75 to 80% copper, 15 to 20% zinc, and smaller percentages of nickel, lead, and iron, the admixture responsible for its bronze appearance. Inscribed upon the posterior of the exterior torso is the Aegean numeral for 9, suggesting that SCP-2406 may not be an entirely unique construction. However, as of to date, it remains the only of its kind known to the Foundation. The anterior of the exterior torso is engraved with a stylized hammer and anvil. The right arm was equipped with a nozzle attached to a 20,800-liter tank. Although the tank was discovered empty, chemical testing revealed pine resin, naphtha, quicklime, calcium phosphide, and sulfur within its interior. At some point in time, SCP-2406's left arm was torn off. It was not initially recovered with SCP-2406, although it was discovered later on December 12, 1998, uncovered approximately 32 kilometers from its body. We will cover more of the specifics on that arm later. Human skeletal remains, 6 in number, have been removed from the interior of SCP-2406, with radiocarbon dating placing their deaths at Cal 1200 to 1000 BCE. All were found to be attired in armor that, while roughly Mycenaean in design, is composed of material never used in ancient warfare, a lead and copper alloy with an inner lining composed of asbestos fabric. The helmet would have completely covered the head with a green, tinted glass visor over the face. Tubes constructed from goat intestines fed outside air directly into the mouths of the pilots. Valve number 136 would have caused a momentary release of water into these tubes, allowing those within to remain hydrated while operating SCP-2406. A similar system of tubes attached at the crotch and were presumably used in the expulsion of urine. SCP-2406 is currently disabled, but could hypothetically be repaired, and displays extensive evidence of combat-related damage. The head, torso, and left leg were discovered impaled by organic spines. These spines appear superficially chitinous and, despite showing strong structural similarities to coral, contain human DNA. It is believed that these objects functioned as projectiles, employed by an unidentified anomalous organism. Indentations around the torso are suggestive of constriction by a large, flexible, and prehensile appendage. Originally thought to be caused by natural corrosion, SCP-2406's outer layer was damaged by a strong acidic substance likely associated with the previously noted unidentified anomalous organism. Physical evidence suggests that the reactor core melted through the posterior torso, penetrating the Earth, and continues to burn at more than 1,200 degrees Celsius. It is estimated to be presently located at approximately 820 meters beneath the surface. The reactor, when intact, has been hypothesized to have functioned in a manner similar to natural nuclear fission reactors, deviating significantly from modern designs. It is possible that the creators of SCP-2406 were aware of such phenomena and attempted to mimic the process. Several scrolls were recovered from a watertight cylinder within SCP-2406. The following is a recording from the case director, Dr. Judith Lowe, regarding these scrolls.
This is a recording for the posterity and secondary record-keeping regarding the translation of the scrolls discovered inside of SCP-2406. With me, I have Dr. Abramov, a Level 3 researcher and linguistic who shall be performing the readings of said scrolls.
Thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Lowe.
Most certainly, Doctor. Now, for a little more context. Most of the scrolls seem to be of a religious nature and seem to be associated with the followers of Makan. This would be the historical precursor to the modern Church of the Broken God. The script seems to be a unique derivative of Mycenaean Greek. This script has taken myself and a team of Foundation linguistics 10 years to decipher in full. After analysis, we have made the exciting discovery of a variation of the Book of Pieces, Chapter 12. Dr. Abramov, if you would, please begin reading. I will jump in with any relevant commentary.
Yes, ma'am. The Colossi were constructed in her schema. The Colossi were constructed to defend.
Stop here a moment, Doctor. The word for defend here could have also meant secure or contain based on the context. Please, continue.
The enemy, Grand Carcist Ion, betrayer of man, destroyer of progress, sorcerer king of Adatum, a desolate domain, a failed and fallen creation, built with the bodies of dead gods.
The context for the word bodies could have also meant flesh.
Upon a throne of black ambition, the enemy plots. The enemy is not a priest, they are a merchant, and they have sold the world.
We have decided on the word world here, but it is strange because it more closely related to whole or totality.
The Colossi were constructed in her schema. The Colossi were constructed to defend. The profane tools must be broken.
There is no direct translation for broken in this context. A more correct translation would be uncreated or wiped fully out of existence and memory.
Drink deep the silver blood of Makan. May her sacrifice not... Dr. Lowe, I'm not sure this last translation is correct. Be in vain?
Obviously, it is not a perfect fit, but the research is still ongoing into the context. Perhaps new scrolls will be able to shed some light on the meaning behind the words.
Shall I start on the next scroll, ma'am?
Please do, Dr. Abramov.
This is the final testament of Matriarch Eupraxia, Legates Faithful, servant of Makan. I'm not a warrior. All warriors are dead, breaking themselves upon the enemy's host. The enemy has set their plan into motion. The Sorcerer King surrounds himself with corpses. To fight is to grow or increase in number his legions. Egypt retreats from the world. The Hittites have fallen into chaos or strife. The conspirators of Crete have sacrificed their own.
I am almost positive the word references Crete, but it could be in reference to Minoans in a broader sense.
The Aegean has fallen into barbarism.
I believe this is meant to reference all Greek states at the time.
The city of 1,000 pillars is forever lost. has always been lost.
This is the greatest point of contention. Could this be speaking of IRAM? It wouldn't be possible, considering there is no evidence of the existence of IRAM until at least the 7th century CE.
Even the Deva grow desperate with the enemy at their border. The center collapses, kingdoms crumble, the damage is done, the light of reason flickers or wanes. But Makan sacrificed herself so that we might be free. We refuse to return to that darkness. We would rather die. But the siege at Garros was won. We must strike while the metal is hot, and thus we march for Kithara at the end of all things. We have crossed the wine dark sea. We have seen villages ravaged by the Red Death. We have seen the dead, the dying, and the deathless. We cast the accursed to holy flame. We enter his desolate domain, and in our left hand we carry our answer. We cannot undo what has been done, but we can delay the Sarkic dawn.
This has been a recording of our findings in the translation of the 2406 scrolls. Thank you.
Like stated previously, the left arm of SCP-2406 was discovered on December 12, 1998, approximately 32 kilometers from its body. Evidence of impact suggests the object had been hurled to its location shortly after being severed from SCP-2406's torso. The arm is equipped with what has since been hypothesized to be a weapon of non-terrestrial origins and anomalous manufacture, design, and capabilities. Due to its singular nature when compared to the rest of SCP-2406, this weapon has been separately classified as SCP-2406-1. The actual purpose of SCP-2406-1 is unknown, the apparatus so foreign as to render it beyond current Foundation knowledge. It has been hypothesized that the use of SCP-2406-1 would cause considerable damage to our local reality, although it remains unknown if SCP-2406-1 was ever used prior to the destruction of SCP-2406. Personnel are not to attempt activation of SCP-2406-1 unless authorized by Site Command. Thank you all for your time. Please remember to follow all safety guidelines for Provisional Site-31 or suffer severe consequences brought on by your own poor choices, including but not limited to death by radiation poisoning.